All right, so I recently got an email from somebody that was asking what the best way to make their first $1,000 online is, and I wanted to turn my response into a video because I think that the question applies to a lot of people that are probably watching this right now, not just them specifically that asked the question, but hopefully you too, and hopefully this helps. All right. Now, there's important context here, though. Most people who ask this, in my experience, are usually desperate for money right now. They might not have a job. They might not have savings. They might need something to work immediately, right? And so they're kind of desperate, looking for like, what can I do right now to make some money? But there's also the random case like this one where that isn't the specific case, and this person actually has a job. They've saved some money. They're not handcuffed by needing cash immediately tomorrow, and that obviously is going to change the answer completely. So the first thing I want you to understand is this, and regardless of whatever business model I'm teaching in this video or in a specific course or whatever the case is, there's no single best online business model for everybody. Most businesses can work if they're done right, and that's the key distinction. What matters way more than the model is ultimately how you approach it, the work that you put in, whether life gets in the way, all those nuanced answers. And so if you don't know exactly what you want to start yet, my advice is really simple. Pick something that genuinely seems interesting to you, not what's trendy, not what somebody on Twitter or on TikTok says is super easy and the next best business model, something that you actually enjoy learning more about, okay? Then find somebody who's already successful doing that. And I don't mean somebody at the very top, right? Not like the billionaire, not like the go-to person for that specific industry, not the person flexing their Lambos on YouTube or TikTok or Instagram. I mean, somebody that's just like a few steps up on the ladder ahead of you because their problems are probably the problems that you're about to run into. A perfect example of this is my brother-in-law was trying to start a print-on-demand t-shirt. And obviously knowing going through that, I don't do much print-on-demand anymore, but knowing going through that, I could literally tell him step by step the problems that he was going to face next. And then once he did that, he would run into this next problem and how to solve that, right? And so their solutions will help you climb fastest and literally dodge the problems that you're not even going to see coming. That's how you shortcut the learning curve. You learn from somebody that's just a little bit ahead of you, and then once you catch up, you find somebody that's a little bit higher, and you rinse and repeat that process. That's how you climb any business ladder. That's how you climb any business model and get better at it. If I did recommend a few business models that worked really well right now, obviously it's pretty much anything that I talk about, but especially for beginners in this specific instance where you have money, you have a job, you have savings, you're not specifically, tethered to needing money immediately. Obviously it would be e-commerce or drop shipping, which I absolutely love, content, and then believe it or not, a service-based business, okay? Dropshipping or e-commerce is obviously powerful because you can do it from pretty much anywhere in the world. You can sell on platforms like Amazon or Etsy if this person specifically lives in India. But if you don't live in India and you're not handcuffed to a specific geolocation, then that obviously opens up the door for more for you. So look into wherever you're located, what specific marketplaces are available to you. Maybe that's Poshmark, maybe that's Mercari, maybe that's Facebook Marketplace, maybe that's Amazon, Etsy, TikTok Shop, TikTok affiliates, whatever the case is, depending on where you are, it's going to open up more doors or less doors for you, and that's totally fine. But generally speaking, you can sell on Shopify, Amazon, or Etsy from anywhere, right? Now, for most beginners, I don't recommend Shopify, but obviously you can sell on platforms like Amazon and Etsy from pretty much anywhere in the world. And so that's typically what I recommend. Now, you can do wholesale, you could do online arbitrage with a prep center, you can even drop ship products directly to customers using wholesale as well. So if you're doing Amazon, obviously you don't want to do retail drop shipping, you probably want to move into wholesale drop shipping. You can do that anywhere in the world within the terms of service. You could also do wholesale FBA, you could do online arbitrage with a prep center. If you're doing Etsy, then obviously print on demand, you can do from anywhere. That's drop shipping as well. You could also drop ship antique and vintage. I recently dropped a video on the channel on how to approach that and get started. I've been doing a ton of that recently. And on Etsy specifically, you can do a number of different things that can all be done remotely. The same thing goes with Amazon, but obviously with Amazon, depending on if you have an Amazon account already or you've never had one, you're gonna have to go through a verification process. And obviously I think they do a video or a phone interview now, which is not hard to get through, but obviously that is a step in friction in the process, right? But you should be able to get through that pretty easily, okay? Now the key distinction distinction there is like most people are worried about that, but you can't really say anything wrong in those interviews. The only thing that they're trying to verify, especially if you're like, in a different country, is that you are who you say you are, and that you don't, the main thing that they're looking for is that you're not trying to misrepresent yourself. Like, for example, a lot of people will get suspended on Amazon for doing something wrong and then try to open up a new account. And so that's mainly, not always, but mainly what that interview process is for, to make sure and vet you out, to make sure that you're not somebody that's already been suspended and they're going to give you another account, right? That's typically what it's for. So don't really worry about that interview process, right? But the key is choosing the right approach and then doing it clean, okay? I have tons of content on Amazon. I have tons of content on Etsy and a number of different business models for e-commerce all over the channel. But moving on from that, content is obviously another really underrated path. It's exactly what I'm doing right now. You could start a YouTube channel. You could start a TikTok page, an Instagram page. You could start on other social platforms, right? Talking about something that you're already interested in or something that you already know a lot about. And there's probably a few of those examples that you're either already really interested in or already know something about. And you could talk and you could be an authority in that space, whether that's soccer or football for the global audience, right? Or whether that's basketball, or whether that's jiu-jitsu or wrestling, or whether that is IT or, coding, or you implementing, like whatever the specific niche is, there's something that you're good at, there's something that you're interested in, something that you can talk about. Obviously, you can be an authority in that space, and it's something that you enjoy talking about and creating content around, so it doesn't feel like work. And that will kind of allow you to enjoy the process a little bit more as you kind of build that runway out for your airplane to then take off, all right? But here's the mistake that most people make, in my opinion. They obsess over monetization too early with content. Don't do that. Your only job in the beginning is to get better at making content. That's it, okay? If you even build a small niche audience, key distinction there is niche, right? So if you start like an e-commerce page, it's going to be tougher, right? Because it's super broad. You want to niche down to a specific form of e-commerce on a specific website. If you're talking about coding, that's still a little bit broad. You probably want to pick I don't know anything about coding, but you probably want to pick like a specific coding language or programming language and a specific subset of programming for something specific, maybe apps or maybe AI tools or whatever the case is, and then get broader and broader as you expand, right? So niche down. If you even have a small niche audience, promise you monetization opportunities will start showing up naturally. I plan on eventually creating a course on this and doing a ton of YouTube videos on this and content on this, because I have a ton of experience dealing with brands, getting sponsorships, and obviously like affiliate marketing and everything with that. But there's a ton of opportunities with that if you can build a niche page, all right? So affiliate offers, brand deals, your own products eventually, services, you name it, the list goes on, merch. It doesn't end there. It's just the beginning, okay? It does not take millions of views to get paid. It really just takes a small niche following to get started. And the best part, obviously, is with content, you can repurpose everything, right? So if you're starting to create YouTube videos, then you can turn those into blog posts by taking the script, adding affiliate links, turn those scripts then into LinkedIn posts, tweets, emails for your news, like whatever the case is. There's easy ways to repurpose content all over the place now. AI makes that insanely easy. Almost anybody can do it, okay? And the third option is obviously, we did e-commerce and drop shipping. We did content. The third option would be a service-based business. In my opinion, this is still one of the fastest and easiest ways to make money online. There's no upfront costs. You can land clients very quickly with outreach, and it's very realistic to scale this to 5 figures a month relatively fast, right? Within your first 3 to 4, maybe 6 months, depending on how much you're able to take on, and if you need to outsource specific aspects of that, or if you're already good at it. Obviously, it's just going to depend on a number of factors, right? And the outreach, right? You need to do the work, you need to do the outreach, but again, that's very simple. It doesn't take any money. It's just your sweat equity, okay? So things like video editing are examples. Obviously, I have a bunch of video editors that I've used over the past few years. I have, 3 or 4 that I currently use now and kind of bounce in between, but I've worked with a bunch of them. I outsourced that since I started on YouTube. Like I think I edited my videos for the first few years, and then I outsourced that, going forward. Short form video editing, turning like long form into shorts is massive now, obviously. And people, believe it or not, want somebody that's able to do that well, because you don't have the time, like as a content creator, like speaking from experience, you don't have the time to necessarily repurpose and edit those yourself, but you also don't always want to throw them into like an AI tool like Opus Pro or GetMunch or Wizard AI or Simplified or whatever the case is, because often those are a volume game and they don't do the best job compared to a human. They can kind of pick a good spot for you and then make it look good with B-roll, motion graphics. People are willing to pay a premium for that, and that's a massive opportunity right now. Things like email marketing, ghostwriting. I know, for example, like I have an email list. I would love to send a few emails a week, but like I don't have an email marketer. Doesn't mean reach out to me. I don't need an email marketer right now, but I'm saying like that is something that somebody like me would outsource for. And there are plenty of people like me that are looking for that, plenty of businesses that are looking for that. So email marketing, ghostwriting, social media management is another one that comes to mind. SEO, whether that's SEO for like specific websites or SEO for specific social posts or SEO for even like a good example of this, like niching down would be like SEO for Amazon products, right? Like how can you get better keywords? Can you snipe other competitors' keywords and then input? Like that's a good example of that as well, right? SEO for YouTube videos. Another big one that I get hit with probably 5 examples a day. So obviously that's super oversaturated, but just to get you thinking, graphic designs, ad creatives, video creatives, like you name it, there's a ton of opportunity out there. And if you're not sure what service to pick, then here's a simple exercise you can do. Just literally go to ChatGPT or Copilot or any AI tool and ask it like the top 100 of the top 500 service-based businesses online that you can do from anywhere that are thriving right now. I guarantee you it comes back with a massive list. Pick one that you can already do or one that you're confident that you can learn very quickly and very easily. And that a list alone, even if you don't get one that like you are super sold on, which you probably will, it will start to spark ideas that you've never even thought of so that you can kind of pivot and pick something on your own, okay? If you're trying to make your first, $1,000 online, the honest truth is that you don't need a secret strategy. You don't need a specific business model that's like the best and the most trending right now. You just need to be patient, pick something that you can do consistently and scale consistently, learn from somebody a little bit ahead of you, rinse and repeat, and then obviously stick with it. You don't want to pivot, right? A lot of people get caught up by shiny object syndrome. They start affiliate marketing, but then like 2 weeks later, they're pivoting to like, creating shorts on TikTok. And then 2 weeks later, they're pivoting to like Shopify dropshipping. And then they're pivoting to, TikTok, like whatever the case is, don't pivot, stick with it long enough, because what you don't realize often that I hear a lot of people say is like, when you do that pivot, when you get caught up by shiny object syndrome, you start at the bottom of each ladder and then you might climb that ladder. And then you think like the shiny object over here is like where you need to be because it's trending. But what you don't realize is you're going to start at the bottom of that ladder and lose all your progress. And there's a ton of other problems and things that you don't know about that business model specifically that you're unaware of because you're looking from the outside in. It looks shiny, it looks easier, it looks like there's a lot of opportunity, but the people doing that business model aren't going to tell you all the things that you might not realize are issues until you get started, right? So there's probably a bunch of challenges that you're unaware of. Don't pivot, stick with something long term. And it's pretty easy to make your first $1,000 online if you're consistent with something, you study it for a decent amount of time and you implement it for a while, because you will get good at it. It doesn't take very long if you're willing to stick with something consistently, all right? So that's my honest opinion. Really hope it helps. And any questions, let me know.